You don't even know how long I've been wanting to invest in a super expensive titanium everyday carry pen. Some people call the Pilot G2 a fancy pen compared to your standard Bic and quote-unquote disposable pens. But I'm talking about really fancy, like almost exclusive. I decided to reach out to Urban Survival Gear, and they were kind enough to send over the TiScribe-Go full-size in titanium, and this is hands down the best pen that I've ever used that isn't a fountain pen. It ships with a Pilot G2 refill, so it's basically just a super fancy Pilot G2. Or is it? Just hear me out. There's 2 points that I want to address and get out of the way here. The first one being is that it's just a Pilot G2 with a super fancy shell. Sure, you could just buy a Pilot G2 and you would have the same type of writing experience, right? Well, yes and no. It feels like a completely different pen in and of itself, even with a G2 refill inside of it. It's also compatible with a bunch of other refills as well if your type isn't the G2. The exterior also plays a significant role when using a pen, not just the refill. The weight, the surface, the texture all affects overall experience. That basically means a better built, sturdier product will feel abundantly more premium than a pen that's made out of plastic, even with the same type of refill. And that brings us to point number 2. I said that this is the best pen that I've ever used that isn't a fountain pen. I am a fountain pen fanboy if you don't know already, but I just don't think that they're very practical for everyday carry. Sure, you totally could EDC a fountain pen, and I actually have done that for a few months, but it's just too much of a hassle for me to use personally from day-to-day use. I have to clean the pens, refill the ink when they run low, and clean the nibs once in a while. There are other ups and downs of using a fountain pen for EDC, but that's all I'll mention in this video. I want something that'll just write when I need it to, without any sort of maintenance, and this pen delivers that. I use fountain pens exclusively for whenever I journal, but for everyday writing and note-taking, I will use this pen. With that out of the way, now onto your regularly scheduled program. Make sure to check out their website, by the way, because this pen comes in a mini size as well as other materials like copper and bronze. Now that I think about it, I actually never showed you how to use this thing. It's super simple. It's a J-shaped bolt action, so all you have to do is push down where there are little grooves on the clip and rotate it to the side. Same thing for when you want to retract the clip, but just move it to the opposite direction. The actuation can be super quick and easy just by simply pushing down and flicking to the side. The clip does not make any contact with the body of the pen during any point of action. There's actually a slight gap in between so that nothing scratches. If you do plan on purchasing this pen, make sure to only use it how I showed you, because if you try using the bolt action from the bottom of the clip, you'll most likely damage the pen and will void the warranty on it. The top of the pen goes down during actuation, I assume so that there would be no gap in the barrel when the pen is actuated, but I also wouldn't recommend pressing down on it as well. I mean, you totally could, but you would also have to twist it, which would take 2 hands, and that isn't very efficient at all. Speaking of actuation, I've been playing with the pen mechanism for a while now, and it's gotten smoother over time. It already felt smooth when I first received it, but now it feels like butter. You can use a dry lubricant such as black graphite powder if you want, and that's what they recommend, but any sort of lubricant is not required. I've never added any sort of lubrication ever since I received the pen, and it's been working flawlessly. No hiccups or hitches at all, and I don't think there ever will be. As you might have noticed, this pen plus fidgeters equals perfection. If this pen is anywhere near you, which it should be if you're using it for everyday carry, you're going to play around with it a lot. When I'm reading, sometimes I pick it up on instinct and start actuating the bolt mechanism. It's super satisfying, and this could be the last fidget thingy I could ever own because it just satisfies all my fidgeting needs. It's super smooth, very satisfying to actuate, and the little sounds this pen makes are just mwah. You can be as loud or as quiet as you want with this thing depending on how aggressive you want to actuate it, so you can be super stealthy if you're in a quiet situation. I absolutely love the design of this pen, and I want you all to take some time to appreciate it with me. There's no sort of branding that you can see besides the top of the pen, and even then it blends in flawlessly and does not disrupt the flow of the overall design. There are little ridges where you would hold the pen, which gives you some grip, and the refill does not wiggle at all inside of the pen. It's the little things that count, and sometimes these things just go over our heads, but I try to mention everything in this video so we can all marvel at how much thought and work was put into this pen. Disassembly is super quick. All you have to do is unscrew the tip and the spring and refill will come right out, and that's all you need to do in order to change the refill. If you wanted to do a full deconstruction, you would need a long screwdriver that Urban Survival Gear sells separately. The reason you would want to do that is because there are going to be some pretty cool clip upgrades that you can get that'll change the look of your pen. And I'm not going to lie, it's pretty tempting and I kind of want to buy one because they look that cool. That's really all I have to say about this pen. I absolutely love this thing, and in my opinion, it's definitely worth the investment. If you EDC a Pilot G2 or some other fairly inexpensive pen and haven't tried out a bolt action, I highly recommend it. There's just something about it that makes me want to carry it with me every day. When I was using the G2, I was just like but I'm actually excited to carry this pen with me around. It's a super cool conversation starter as well. The only group of people that I would not recommend this pen to is the group of people that misplace their pen often. But other than that, buy this pen. If you enjoyed or have found this video helpful, please don't forget to leave a like as it helps me out a lot, and maybe consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.